Hi, it's Joe Glines, and in my first video on LinkedIn, I was demonstrating how you can greatly improve your profile and connect with a lot more people, thus increasing your open network, which of course allows more people to see your profile. Today, I'm going to cover things about how, if you're actually looking for a job, how you're actively looking, you want to do these things, which will greatly help your ability to find a position. Now, make sure you watch the other video first and apply those things, because all of this can be done. However, it's you want to make sure you have your best bait on the line when you're trying to catch that big fish, right? It'd be a shame to do all this work and then not have improved your profile first, and thus you're not shiny enough for people to ask you to look at, right? So having said that, okay, the very first thing is, and I just have some links here, which I'll bring them up. Let's see here. So the first link was to, I think it was this art. This is a quick example. Basically, you need to really learn how to use the Boolean in filters in LinkedIn for searching, right? So here's a LinkedIn page. However, the other article I found, which was the second link, has a lot more information, especially because at the beginning they talk about how things normally work and some things you can do. However, LinkedIn doesn't quite work the way normal Boolean works. And so at the bottom here, they have some good insights about how to do things. And then the third link, which actually I don't think I have open, is some great tips also of how to use Boolean, how to use it on LinkedIn. This one might be a little dated. I didn't check to see if they were working, correctly or not. But this tip sheet, I attended this webinar and it had some great information. Really helped me think through exactly what I'm trying to look for. But basically, make sure you understand how to use Boolean search, because it's critical in finding the right people and making sure you get in front of your best potential prospects. Because you could just go on LinkedIn and find everybody, right? However, you don't have time to reach out to millions of people. And so what you want to do is do your best to trim down that list of people you're looking for down to, in the hundreds. And that way, when you go to connect with those people, they are very likely to be interested in you, a good connection, a good fit, good help. So that's the first bullet here. And I just say is work through that, keep playing around with it until you finally really get it, because it makes an enormous difference. All right, going on. The second one is, so you want to, of course, go out and target people. So this is actually, these two here are broken up just depending on the target market, right? Specific groups of people that can really, really help you. The first ones, for me, especially if you've been working for, let's say, over 7+ years in the industry, you want to find headhunters or recruiters, because you are gold to them, right? You literally will make them money, and they will work hard to try to find a position for you. And so the first step I would do is ask your colleagues and peers or past supervisors, right, if they know of any recruiters that work in your industry, and get connected with them. And then, of course, reach out to them and tell them you're looking. When you start using the filters, I would say, most headhunters, they place people nationally, like within your country. And so when I'm doing something like this, I will look for anybody that's inside. Let's go ahead and switch over here to using. Did I close them all? I guess I did. To using the search. So I'll go up here to LinkedIn, and the first thing I'm gonna go up to the filters. I'm not even gonna type anything in yet. I'm just gonna show you here. Over here, right? You want to limit this to United States, right? And when you do that, my original number was, I think, 14 million. Now I'm down to 138. Yeah, that's a lot bigger. That's a crazy number. That's the number of people that are on LinkedIn. That's not who I'm connected with. But anyway, so you want to limit it to the people that are on LinkedIn in the United States or whatever country you're in, right? I wouldn't go as far as saying, let's say I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right? And I can start typing here, limit my search to that. But you know what? Headhunters, they fill positions all over the country. So why would I do that? And see these numbers. Let's drop out United States here. So now we're down to 2.5 million in the United States. And that's without applying, the titles and positions. So that's the first one is use country, but don't use the smaller geographies. And then use under the keywords. Let's go back to here just to show you, because it's kind of hidden. It's very weird where they put things. I want to go back, inlet back in. LinkedIn just drives me nuts. Sorry. All right. United States. Every time you click a button, it updates. And then under keywords, here is where now I can put in title. And so I was just brainstorming on some of the things I would look like. I would put, whatever your industry is. Let's say if I'm a business analyst or, in analytics or statistics, right? I would think of terms to put in here and put them together with quotes, right? And so let's say I was in here. I would put that in here. Let's say, so analytics recruiter is a great one. Or, now this is where you learn how to use your Boolean stuff, right? Or, and I can't spell analytics, can I? Analytics. Boy, I am a horrid speller. Anyway, so you'd put it in there, and I'll just say that for now. Analytics. What did I have in here? All right, recruiter. So just recruiter. Oh, that was that one. What was before it? Oh, your industry. So there's skill set. So I would say like, so skill set would be statistics. And then let's hit search. Let's see what that drops that down to. So there's only 37, right? Which is fine, right? Because these are 37 people that basically somewhere in their profile say that's what they're an analytics recruiter, right? And this is the other thing I do is when I'm looking at this, I type them in. I skim the titles of people, and it helps me think about other words I should be putting into this Boolean search, right? So here are some other examples, right? But you figured out. You can look at the if you're paying for the really expensive pro plan, there are other functions. Other filters you can use, like the job function, and for that you could put in like recruitment. I think it's under or job position. Staffing maybe, and then don't use things like industry, right? Because the industry is about the company that the person works at, not about the industry you are in. And so you don't want to limit your recruiters to those that work in a certain, like let's say it was in market research, right? I wouldn't want that because the recruiters don't work in market research. They're filling for market research. So that's why I wouldn't use that. Also the size of the company, right? A lot of these people, recruiters, they work for themselves, right? I would not use anyway a size of company or even seniority. Unless you have a lot of experience, you might say, you know what, I only want to talk to senior recruiters, right? So that one, again, both size of company and seniority are only available if you're paying a lot to LinkedIn. And what's great is that you'll still be able to see them. You just can't filter on it, right? So it's still, you'll find them. And you could put words like in director or VP or senior, and put it in there. You probably, this is why I mentioned earlier, target on the country, but don't put in the geography, right? It's just too specific, and you don't want to only find recruiters that are in your market. Once identified, go out and try to connect with as many as you can. And when you do, write them a personal message and tell them flat out, hey, I'm looking for a position. Here's a brief background on my skill set, but don't do too much because they'll just go look at your LinkedIn profile, right? So there's no reason to write too much about it because they're just going to go look at your profile. So that's this whole group of headhunters, recruiters, people like that, right? Then there's this other group of people who are basically they're managers at a given company, or they're the HR people that work at that company. Now for that one, you might want to limit the geography. I'd still limit the country, right? But you'd probably also, and you know what? Let me also show you this. This is a hyperlink I put in here because LinkedIn has some crazy codes. And let's find Dallas. So here's the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but they don't have like here. I can see these are all Texas. Here are Texas locations, right? But that's not easy to actually find when you're in the search. So let's say I wanted to find all those in Texas. I'll come back in here and I'll hit add, and you can't just type. So here you can see them when you pop up that way, but it just could be tedious. And this way you can look at them all at once. And this is Texas area, but what if you wanted to know a little bit different, right? I like having them in a list that I can literally look at all of them and see what's there. And then this one, the industry, you might want to put in staffing and recruiting or human resources, because that'll be about the person. Actually, so industry. Let me rephrase this. So this should be the not industry. It's job function is what I should have put there for that. And then you can go look up. And here I have a link to all the different industry codes that LinkedIn has, and there are a lot. Right. So this is an easy way to scan them and figure out what industries you want to actually target for the industry that you work in. Right. Because that's where it is about the company. You're looking at the company that you're trying to find. Right, and that's why it is relevant there. So you can, once you find it, you put them in here and say, add, and so I saw market research in there, right there. Now I'm going to limit that to market research, but and this is where I'm looking for people, right? Not recruiters, but managers that work in market research. And so here I might say director, and again, now that I'm looking at for a specific company, I'd want to say, let's look in the Dallas market research area, and so now we've limited to 11,000. That's still a lot, right? So I wouldn't want to do that many, probably, because I don't want to go through all those. But what I could do is, let's say also I can create a cheat sheet of I'm connected to 55 people that have director somewhere in their profile that are, you know what, actually I think I clicked that again. Yeah, so 10 people in market research with director in their title, or make sure these in caps. When you have spaces in between, wrap them in quotes. And so you can beef it up, but these are people that I'd be like, hey, I'm going to reach out to these people directly, right? Write them. These are all first person, so I have their email addresses. I have access to them. And then once I go through my first person ones, I would drop out the first and look at the second connection, level connections, and connect with all of those people I can, right? And maybe ask them for an informational interview, right? And talk to them. So that's what we're working through here. Again, seniority, if you have it, if you're paying for it, that's a good one to find, because they'll be more likely to be managers, right? People that are in a position to hire someone. However, if you don't find any of those, you still probably want to connect with people that are lower level, and then just talk to them about, are there any positions? So I just mentioned again, you want to focus in the market you want to work in, connect with as many as you can, write them directly, see if they're informational. Okay, the third one is, let's say I don't have that many people in my network. I don't know I don't have a good insight as far as to who is hiring in this market. So what I would do is say, you know what, I'm gonna look for people that have a specific job title. So now I'm basically thinking about my own position. And so I'll say, not big data, somewhere in my title. I'm a limit to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I'll actually, I should just hit clear all. Well, I'll hit that because I don't know what that'll do. All right, let's say, here we go. We'll look for analytics in this market. And this way, all right, so right here, LinkedIn used to show you how many contacts they had right next to it, and it was a great way to cheat to see how many people work in that with that job title at those companies, because they try to put up those that have the most people at that company with that title first, right? So it's a great easy way to kind of say, hey, where do these people work? But then also you could just go down here and look at the companies, right? And then get an idea of the companies that actually work in that have people that work in that industry. Once you have that, then you can go back and try to figure out people at that company you might know. Let me go back to here. So, so contact people that you know directly, right? And tell them you're looking, and see if they know the hiring manager or the person that works in market research. So at this point, the best way to get a job is by knowing people. So regardless of your connection, if they don't work in your specific industry, that's okay. If you know them, ask them if they can help you out and connect you with the person that is the hiring manager. Also, make sure you check the second level of your connections of your friends. So If you have someone that is working there, you can actually filter. Let me get rid of this and this. Let's see what'll happen here. Okay, it looks like it took both. But this is interesting is I can now, let me get rid of this. I can say I want to search for specific connections of someone who works in, so let's say this is my wife, Kathy Kleins. So I can go through, now if she shares her connections, I can go through and see who we have connected. So I still have market research filtered there. But these are people we share in our connections, right? So it's a great way to be able to say, if you know somebody who's the hiring manager, right, who's that particular person at that job, filter on them. You know, if you can connect to them, filter on their connections and see who else you know that might be able to put in a good word for you, right? After you do that, you also might just try to find the HR person or recruiters that work at that company. And then another way that's not quite as good is if you see that certain people belong to certain groups, like let's say here, this is me, but actually, you know what, I better not do mine because it'll come up a little bit differently. So I'm going to find my wife's profile here. Oh. Okay. So in here, I should, typically you can see what groups, and let's see if I can find it. 28 mutual groups. Wow. You used to be able to click on this. Is there only 2? There's 4. Let's see if it's down below. Oh, interests. All right, let's see what this looks like. Here we go. So here I can see the groups that we share, right? And especially if there's one, let's say we were both in, which I don't think it is, but there's an SPSS group, right? Which is very specific and it's a niche area for what my background's in. I would, if I saw the hiring manager was in that group and if I happen to know that they posted there, then I would go there and start commenting on things, right? Making intelligent comments, hopefully. But the other one, of course, is if you can see the hiring manager, go look at the groups they're in. You can also filter on... no, I was thinking you could filter on their posts, but you can't. You would have to go into that group. And so let's say for me, I could go into where LinkedIn keeps moving stuff around. It's ridiculous. Where in the world are my groups? Where'd they go? There it is. And then under my groups, so let me go to that SPSS group. One of them. All right, SPSS users. And here I could start looking at conversations and just see if they've actually done anything. Now that's you know, it's a long stretch, but if you could start commenting on there, it's a great way to start a conversation with somebody. The other really important thing I'd say is when you first reach out to somebody, don't reach out and say, "Hey Phil, I see we're connected. I'm looking for a job. You know, can you help me out?" It's start a conversation. Ask them what's going on in their industry. Ask them what's going on at their company. If there's some news in the industry, ask them about that and just start a conversation. It's much more likely once you get the conversation going, right, at that like third email where you write back and forth, you say, "Yeah, I'm actually looking." And again, don't say, "Are you hiring?" Say, "Are you aware of anybody who's out there that's hiring? Because, you know, I'm looking for a position." Okay, those are some of the best tips I have for finding a job actively with LinkedIn. Hope that helps. Thanks.